From the Bay Area's local news station, we begin now with breaking news.
Now at 5, millions of Bay Area residents ordered to stay home.
To remain at home with exceptions only for essential outings. This order will go into effect at midnight tonight.
Officials say the drastic move to contain the coronavirus is necessary. What will shut down and what will stay open over the next few weeks, and as new restrictions take effect across the country, the impact being felt in the financial markets.
Is the U.S. economy heading into a recession?
Well, it may be. We're not thinking in terms of recession. We're thinking in terms of the virus.
KRON4 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us tonight at 5 o'clock, everybody. I'm Grant Lotus.
And I'm Catherine Heenan, and our top story tonight, slowing the spread of the coronavirus and how you can help protect yourself and others.
As you can see, we are practicing social distancing here at KRON4. Catherine and I are at different desks. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Grant.
We're going to be doing this for the foreseeable future. We obviously have much more than the recommended 6 feet of distance between us. There's Lawrence over here to my right. He's about 8 feet away. So the gang's all here, but just in a little bit of a different setup, at least for the time being.
Yeah, together, but not exactly. Now to our top story. Roughly 7 million people are being told to stay home in the Bay Area. The legal order does limit activity, travel, and business functions to only essential needs. Here's what it means. All residents are ordered to shelter in place in their homes for 3 weeks, leaving only for essential needs, and that applies in the following counties: San Francisco, Marin, Santa Clara, San Mateo, Alameda, and Contra Costa counties, taking effect tonight at midnight. And it will mean that places like bars and gyms and movie theaters and dine-in restaurants will be closed. Essential services will stay open, including city and county government services like police and fire and hospitals. Your trash will still be picked up. Grocery stores, pharmacies, banks, and gas stations will also stay open. Also, mail services, plumbers, electricians, hardware stores, and laundromats. And takeout and delivery from restaurants. Grant?
Well, San Francisco was the first local city or county to announce the new health order, which Mayor Breed says is the temporary new normal. We are awaiting an update from Mayor Breed tonight. She spoke earlier today, going to speak again this evening. She is expected to speak more about the shelter-in-place order and how it could affect public transportation. So we will bring that to you live as soon as it begins. For now, though, KRON4's Dan Kerman joins us live from San Francisco City Hall with more on this legal order issued today. Dan, this is obviously about as big a news as we have.
Absolutely. You know, when we heard about the Los Angeles area shutting down bars and restaurants, we thought that was a big deal. But this is a lot more serious. Basically, San Francisco city officials say there is no time to wait. This virus is moving so fast, affecting so many, and the illness is so severe that they must work to keep people away from each other, and this is the way they're doing it.
The new public health order that we're announcing will require San Franciscans to remain at home with exceptions only for essential outings.
At a news conference Monday, Mayor London Breed announced San Francisco and 5 other Bay Area counties are ordering people to stay at home for the next 3 weeks to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus.
These measures will be disruptive to day-to-day life, but there is no need to panic.
San Francisco's health director says based on the rapid escalation of COVID-19 cases and the seriousness of those illnesses, there is no choice but to act to keep people apart so the health system does not get overwhelmed.
This is a critical intervention that we know can reduce harm and save lives.
Officials did indicate city services will continue and certain types of businesses will remain open to the public.
Your garbage will be picked up. Police officers will be out there on the front line. Our fire safety officials and others. Also, grocery stores and pharmacies and banks and gas stations will remain open. Restaurants will be open for takeout only, but non-essential stores like bars and gyms will close effective midnight tonight.
Non-essential travel is also banned unless you're currently out of the county you live. Then you will be allowed to come back in. Now, this is all enforceable by the police department. You can be arrested for a misdemeanor, but San Francisco's police chief says that is not the tack they're taking. They're hoping people voluntarily comply, and they will mostly be out educating people. To that end, they will also be putting forth a PR campaign, the city of San Francisco will, so people are aware of what's going on and what they need to do over the next 3 weeks. Live outside San Francisco City Hall, Dan Kerman, KRON4 News.
All right, thank you, Dan. And as Grant mentioned just a few minutes ago, Mayor Breed and other city officials holding a news conference right now talking about the shelter in place, including public transportation. Let's listen.
We are immediately suspending all late penalties for failure to pay citations, as well as stopping sending any late citations on to DMV or to collections. We're temporarily stopping enforcement of parking control measures that are not related to public health, safety, and accessibility. Effective immediately, we are suspending enforcement of residential parking permits, peak hour towaways, and parking for longer than 72 hours. We will, however, need to continue enforcement of rules related to public health, safety, and the accessibility of services. This includes street cleaning, blocking of bike lanes, double parking, and parking in transit-only lanes. Meters will continue to be enforced because our businesses will still be open, providing essential services for people and likely increasing the rate of driving to some of our neighborhood commercial districts. As you all know, this is a continually changing situation, and we urge you to go to sfmta.com for further updates. Thank you. And Bob Powers up next. And our next speaker is Bob Powers, General Manager of BART.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing this afternoon? So Bob Powers, I'm the General Manager with BART. Just a couple of updates on BART. So first, BART is an essential service. You just heard from the director for SFMTA about public transportation. BART is an essential service. And our workers, our frontline employees, stand ready to provide reliable mobility and to provide essential service to workers who are our first responders, who are providing health care services, who are providing social services, and for the folks who are working at grocery stores and institutions that need to be kept open in these trying times. So BART's ready to do that. We are providing regular service. Once again, BART will be providing regular service with long enough trains that will allow for social distancing. That's happening right now. We are disinfecting and doubling down on the cleaning to keep our riders and our frontline employees safe. Every night our cars are being cleaned, the trains are being wiped down. Routinely, we're getting comments through the Twitter sphere about how well the stations are looking and what a nice job we're doing there. So BART police and employees who are essential to running service are going to continue to report to work. Others have been asked to work from home. If you're sick, BART is asking that you not ride BART. If your travel isn't essential, we're asking that you follow the order and not ride BART. And lastly, the trains must continue to run to ensure that the lifeline services for those workers who are going to keep our region functioning during these trying times is available for them to get to where they need to go. And with that, I will turn it over to the Director of Homeless Services, Mr. Kaczynski.
Good afternoon, Jeff Kaczynski. I'm the Director of the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing. Every night, our department and our nonprofit partners are providing shelter and housing to over 13,000 homeless and formerly homeless people. One of our top priorities is ensuring that the clients in that housing and shelter and our staff who are providing essential services are able to continue to operate in a safe environment. We're doing all that we can to ensure that those services continue continue and that the staff and the clients are kept safe. Our other priority is to ensure that we are educating people who are currently unsheltered, sleeping in the streets or in vehicles or in tents, to provide them with information about COVID-19, about social distancing. We've also provided over 20 hand washing stations throughout the city and are working to keep our shelters and other programs open as long as possible so people have access to basic hygiene. And lastly, we are very focused on preparing for what happens if there is an outbreak in a congregate setting or in our permanent supportive housing. We're working closely with the Department of Public Health and the Human Services Agency and DEM to plan for creating spaces for people who need to self-isolate or to be quarantined. And with that, I'll introduce my colleague Trent Rohr from the Human Services Agency.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Trent Rohr. I'm the Executive Director of the Human Services Agency. Our agency provides public assistance and services in the form of cash assistance, food and nutrition benefits, in-home care for seniors and disabled, meal services for seniors, as well as Medi-Cal benefits for over 250,000 San Franciscans. As of Friday, we have closed all of our public facilities, and these are facilities and sites where people would normally come to enroll in benefits, to seek access to services, to continue their benefits, or to get emergency assistance. We can handle most of our transactions through online portals and through the phone. We are open to the public in very limited circumstances that would require a face-to-face interaction, such as emergency housing assistance, emergency food assistance, a replacement of one's benefit card, and the way we're handling that is having greeters in front of all of our buildings who screen the individual and then walk that person in by him or herself. So we're taking all precautions we can in order to limit public contact with one another. On a typical day at the Human Services Agency,
well, you've been listening to a news conference live. We're probably going to dip into this again later, but city officials, some of the headlines, including the fact that BART service will be uninterrupted. They're cleaning the trains. They're going to make sure they're long enough to make social distancing possible. Homeless officials, again, reiterating the fact they're keeping really close tabs on the homeless in shelters and outside on the street, and working to make sure that staffers and clients in those shelters are safe. And things like some parking restrictions in the city are being eased. But again, Grant will be hearing more from this as it continues.
Indeed, yeah, we'll rejoin that, or at least check in right after the break. Also coming up, the airline industry obviously getting hit hard by the pandemic, when some experts say airlines could go bankrupt.
Also, there is now a drive-through testing site in the Bay Area. What you need to know about the new service.